Hi, this is Rod Saunders from Jew and Greek. Today I want to talk to you about my Bibles. I've been wanting to do a video about this for a long time, and I just felt like, I didn't have anything burning in me to talk about, so I thought I'll just talk about my Bibles. So let me run through a few. I've still got a few that I can't find that I wanted to talk about, but this is what I was able to find. This is my daily devotional Bible. I've had this for about 30 years, and it's New King James, and it gives you Old Testament, Psalms, Proverbs, and then some New Testament for every day of the year. You read through the Bible in a year if you follow the plan here. And here's my my Kenneth Hagin bookmark, just about worn out. Everybody should have a daily devotional Bible. And for me personally, I find it's much easier to do it on a daily basis if you've got an actual, paper and ink Bible instead of digital format. Because it's always sitting there right by my bed before I go to sleep. This is my Thompson Chain Reference Bible. Now, people, I don't think, use these anymore because everything is available online now. But when I started at Rhema in 1982, they issued all of their students a Thompson Chain Reference Bible to help you in your Bible study. When you're looking up a verse, you can just turn to the footnotes, and it shows you where to look up all the verses that correspond to that verse. You can see here all the references all through this book, and I think it's got a Strong's Concordance. It's got maps. This is a great Bible for study, as a study aid. This is the first Bible I ever had. It's got my name written into it. I think they gave me this Bible when I got baptized when I was 8 years old, so it's dated 1965 was when I was baptized. It's King James Bible. It's pretty much a standard issue. My sister's had a Bible just like this one. It's hardbound. As you can see, it's not very worn out because I didn't read my Bible much when I was a Baptist. But it was something that I took to church every Sunday to look up the verses that the preacher was preaching on, and then I'd put the Bible away until the next Sunday. That's what we did. This is my parallel Bible. You don't need these anymore because you've got Bible Hub and Bible Gateway and everything, but I think I got this back in the late 70s. It's got the King James Bible. It's got the Modern Language Paraphrase, the Living Bible Paraphrase, and the Revised Standard Translation. So you can see how it has a different version for every column. And this thing is just about worn out. As you can see, it's falling apart. But when I started reading the Bible, all I had was my King James. And then my mom gave me a Living Bible, and I can't find that old Living Bible. But then I started reading the Living Bible, and that made it easier to understand. But then, I think for Christmas, Mom got me a parallel Bible, and I thought, now I've got 4 different versions that I can read, 2 paraphrases and 2 translations. Doesn't get any better than that. And I was really thrilled to have this thing, and I used it a lot until I went to Rhema and started getting other Bibles. This is my Spanish New Testament, El Nuevo Testamento. I don't even remember when I got this, but I know it was before everything was available online digitally. And I wanted to learn how to quote verses in Spanish, and so I got a Spanish version of the New Testament. Now, if you're not familiar with foreign translations, it's just like in English. They have Spanish translations that are kind of older, outdated, formal translations like the King James. And then they have more modern Spanish translations. And I think it says, Edición El Camino de Vida, the way of life edition. So I think that's the more modern Spanish, if I remember correctly. Let's see. This is my good news for modern man. This was a very popular paraphrase back in the 70s. I think this is actually my sister's. Yeah, it's got my sister's name in it here. But she moved away and left it at home, and so I just kind of swiped it. And because she never read this thing, I don't think, and didn't take it with her when she left, and it was just sitting there for years, and so I said, I'm taking this one. So that's my good news for modern man paraphrase. Here's my Amplified New Testament. I got this when I was at Rhema. The instructors at Rhema were always quoting from the Amplified because it brings out other meanings that you don't necessarily get from the King James or some other translation. So it was a very popular thing back then, so I went and got a copy of it. I used it some, but for Bible study, I really didn't feel like because it gives you so many different possible meanings, it doesn't really tell you which one is right. So I'm not as big on the Amplified New Testament as some people are, but I guess in the right application, it serves you well. This is my Barclay New Testament. I like the Barclay translation. He was a scholar, and I don't remember when I picked this up. I think it was while I was at Rhema, but this was, to me, when I got this, I thought this is probably the best translation of the New Testament. I don't know if it is or not, but at the time I was really I had some Barclay commentaries and stuff, and so I just figured this is going to be awesome. Let's see. This is my Kenneth Wuest New Testament expanded translation. Like the Amplified, the expanded translation gives you a lot of other possible meanings. It's a little bit more wordy than most translations, but that's why it's called expanded translation. It gives you a lot of verbiage that you might not pick up in other translations. And Wuest was a scholar, and he was not a Calvinist, so I like Wuest. And this is a Biblia Sagrada, the Holy Bible in Portuguese. I got this when I was in Brazil. My Brazilian friend gave it to me. It was a Bible that he didn't use anymore because I think he was like me. He was collecting different Bibles, and he had an extra one lying around, and I told him I didn't have a Portuguese Bible, so he gave me this one. And I think this is the more modern Portuguese. The old Portuguese, it's like they can't even read it in Brazil. It's worse than King James. And this is what he told me, that the old Portuguese, like they spoke in Portugal hundreds of years ago, it's actually harder for them to understand than it is for us to understand King James English. There's a bigger gap, I think, between Portugal and Brazil anyway. But anyway, I've got a Portuguese version of the Bible. Again, this was 2009 when I went to Brazil, and all of this stuff has become available digitally online, at the click of the mouse. But 13 years ago when I was in Brazil, you still needed a book to get another translation. I used to have a Living Bible. The Living Bible is in my Parallel Bible, but I used to have a separate Living Bible, and I used to have an NIV Bible, and I don't know if I've lost them or if I just put them in a box somewhere that I haven't, I got a lot of stuff to dig through in the attic and stuff. So I may still have a copy of my NIV, but that was kind of a popular Bible for me back in the 80s. I went and purchased that one because it was the Bible that a lot of scholars recommended. Little did I know that the scholars that were recommending it were Reformed. The NIV and the ESV are very popular in the Reformed community because there were a lot of Reformed people on the translation committees. So I kind of shy away from the NIV and the ESV now. And I'm not saying that they're bad translations, but once you realize that they lean Reformed, it's easier to navigate over to the Wuest translation or the Holman translation or something that's not so Reformed in its origins. So anyway, that's just a brief introduction to my Bible collection. I've got a few others here and there that are King James that I don't haul around. One I've never even used it. I just got it because I thought this is going to be a nice Bible for me to preach from. I got it made with my name, inscribed on it. But I've never even used it for study or for reading or anything. I was just going to use it when I was in the pulpit. It turned out I never did much pulpiteering. So it's lying around somewhere. And then my dad had a Bible issued to him from the Shriners when he was in the Mascot Temple. And that is a big, heavy Bible, bigger than the parallel Bible that I got here. And I didn't want to drag that thing out. But it's fun going through your Bible collection and seeing how many different versions from so many different periods that you have. But it just shows you that it's been a long time in the making, me reading and studying the Bible and collecting a lot of Bibles and Bible study aids over the years. So I hope you got something out of this. We'll see you next time. God bless.